He had everything: luxury, fame, power, except one thing her billionaire husband wanted most. And when she refused, he didn't argue. He replaced her. But no one humiliates Zuri Amani and gets away with it. Not even her billionaire husband, Kwame Adeyemi. Nairobi's skyline glowed like a crown of diamonds. The Adeyemi penthouse stood high above everything: glass walls, marble floors, gold accents, and a view worth more than a small country's budget. Inside, Zuri Amani Adeyemi posed in front of a full-body mirror, wearing a dress that looked like it belonged on the Met Gala red carpet. Black silk, high slit, and rhinestones shaped like fire. Her nails? Red. Her heels? Louboutin. Her perfume? One spray could buy a car. She applied her lipstick slowly, admiring her reflection like she was her own favorite art piece. Behind her, her husband, Kwame, watched silently. He wasn't just a billionaire. He was the billionaire. Tall, calm, sharp jaw, suit so perfectly tailored it looked fabricated directly on his skin. "Zuri," he said quietly, "we need to talk." She didn't even turn. "Kwame, please, not now. I have a fashion gala in 20 minutes, and stress gives wrinkles." Kwame took a slow breath, the kind men take when they're reminding themselves to stay patient. "It's important." She finally turned, raising one eyebrow. "Important like you need help choosing a tie, or important like drama?" Kwame stared directly into her eyes. "Important like family." Zuri rolled her eyes dramatically. "Oh God, not this conversation again?"
Kwame stepped forward. "Zuri, we've been married 3 years. You promised after your business launch we would start trying." She laughed, actually laughed. "Try? Honey, trying is for people who don't plan. I don't want children. They ruin bodies, sleep, and wardrobes." Kwame blinked slowly. "And marriages?" She smirked. "Only insecure men need children to feel complete." Kwame stepped back, like her words physically struck him. For a full 5 seconds, silence. Then he nodded once. "Understood." Zuri smiled, kissed him lightly on the cheek, grabbed her diamond-studded clutch, and said, "Good talk. Bye." She walked out, heels clicking like law. Kwame watched the door close. His jaw tightened. That night, while the world praised her beauty and cameras flashed like lightning, Kwame sat alone in the penthouse, staring at a file titled Plan B. And for the first time since their wedding, he whispered, "All right, Zuri, if you don't want a family, I will build one without you."
3 days passed, 3 days of silence. Zuri barely noticed. She was too busy with her usual routines: Pilates, shopping, brunch selfies, fashion influencer events, and acting like the universe worked for her schedule. But on the 4th evening, while she sipped iced matcha in her walk-in closet the size of a small hotel lobby, something strange happened. Kwame called her phone. Not text, not assistant message, a call. She stared at the caller ID like it was some rare artifact. She let it ring until the last second, then answered with a lazy tone. "Kwame, darling, you're alive. I was beginning to think you eloped with your laptop." Kwame didn't laugh. In fact, his voice sounded controlled. "Zuri, be ready by 7 p.m. We're hosting a dinner."
She blinked. "A dinner? I'm not in a social mood. Cancel." "No," Kwame replied. "This one isn't optional." Zuri sat up straighter. Kwame never used that tone. "Excuse me? I don't do forced events. That's dictatorship energy." Kwame replied with 3 calm words. "It's already done." Then he hung up. Zuri stared at her phone like it slapped her.
The penthouse dining hall looked like a presidential state banquet. Gold-rimmed plates, crystal glasses, fresh roses, candles, warm lighting. Zuri walked in wearing a glittering silver gown, ready to reclaim spotlight.
But then she froze, because seated at the table next to her husband was a woman. And not just any woman. She was stunning. Chocolate brown skin glowing, natural curls pinned with gold clips, wearing a modest but elegant emerald dress. Beautiful in a soft, warm, non-showy way, the complete opposite of Zuri's loud glamour. The woman stood and smiled politely. "Good evening, Mrs. Adeyemi. I'm Amara." Zuri slowly blinked. Her brain needed rebooting. She glanced at Kwame. "Kwame, what is this?" Kwame finally looked at her, calm, unreadable. "Sit. You'll find out." Zuri sat, stiff, confused, annoyed, and slightly scared. Dinner began. Roasted lamb, seasoned rice, grilled vegetables, and passion fruit juice. Kwame finally spoke. "Zuri, this is Amara. She will be staying with us for a while." Zuri laughed, a loud, mocking movie villain laugh. "I'm sorry, what? Staying? Here? With us? Is she a chef? A nanny? A distant cousin? A charity case? A human decoration?" Amara politely sipped her drink, unbothered. Kwame didn't smile. "She is none of those." Zuri leaned forward. "Then what is she?" Kwame put down his fork, folded his hands, and looked straight into her eyes. "She's the woman who wants a family." Silence. Zuri's heart dropped. Her jaw clenched. "What are you saying?" she whispered. Kwame remained calm. "You don't want children. I do. So Amara will help build the life I want." Zuri stood up so fast her chair nearly fell. "Are you out of your billionaire mind?" Kwame remained seated, steady, calm, untouchable. "You made your decision, Zuri. Now I'm making mine." Amara finally spoke softly. "I'm not here to replace you unless you make yourself replaceable." Zuri stared at her, then at Kwame. Then she whispered, voice trembling with anger and disbelief, "You think I'll let you embarrass me like this?" Kwame lifted his glass. "You already did that to yourself." Zuri walked out, shaking, for the first time in her life, unsure if she was still the main character.
Zuri didn't cry. Crying was for weak people. That's what she always believed. But as she locked herself inside her dressing room, surrounded by luxury bags, mirrors, skincare worth more than rent in major cities, something in her chest felt heavy. For the first time, her lifestyle didn't feel powerful. It felt hollow. She paced back and forth, heels clicking angrily. How dare he? How dare he bring another woman into my house? Me? Zuri Amani? She threw her clutch on the floor. The diamonds scattered. She didn't even care. Her mind replayed Kwame's words like a haunted voice. She's the woman who wants a family. No man ever challenged her. No man ever walked away. No man ever made her feel replaceable. And now, her billionaire husband, the most respected man in Nairobi, had just humiliated her in her own home with a woman who looked like the definition of peace, softness, and fertility. Zuri looked in the mirror. Her makeup was flawless, her lashes thick, her lips perfect, but something was missing. Emotion, soul, purpose. For the first time, her reflection didn't clap in approval. It stared back like a stranger. Kwame and Amara finished dessert. Amara spoke gently.
Are you sure this is the right path? She seems proud, but hurt. Kwame leaned back. Zuri doesn't understand love. She understands attention. If she won't grow, life will teach her. Amara nodded. She will fight. Kwame smirked slightly. She already is. Zuri finally wiped under her eyes, not crying, just removing the threat of tears like it was bad makeup. She straightened her posture, fixed her hair, reapplied lipstick like war paint. Then she walked back downstairs, every step confident, rehearsed, dangerous. She entered the dining room, voice sweet but sharp like a blade wrapped in sugar. So, Amara, how long do you plan to enjoy your little stay? Amara smiled kindly. As long as needed. Zuri's eyebrow twitched. Cute. And tell me, what do you offer that makes you necessary? Amara spoke softly. No attitude, no competition, just truth. Peace, patience, future. Zuri's smile dropped a little. Kwame watched silently, analyzing, not interfering. Zuri leaned closer to Amara and whispered, "Will you think you can come here and take my place?" Amara looked straight into her eyes. No, the only person who can lose your place is you. The words hit like thunder. Zuri froze for half a second. Then she did what she did best, laughed loudly. Oh, darling, you have no idea who you're dealing with. She turned to Kwame. You want a challenge? Fine. Game on. Kwame raised an eyebrow. A challenge? Zuri smirked, fire returning to her eyes. I will prove to you who the real wife is. Kwame nodded slowly. Then prove it. Zuri pointed toward Amara with a diamond-polished finger. But hear me clearly, I don't share. She walked away, chin high, heart racing. As she disappeared around the corner, Amara exhaled. Kwame whispered under his breath, Welcome to war. The next morning in the Adiemi mansion didn't feel normal. It felt like a runway, a battlefield, and a royal chess match all mixed together. Zuri woke up earlier than usual, not because she wanted to, but because she refused to let Amara be awake before her. She changed into a silk robe, tied her hair in a perfect bun, and walked downstairs like a queen returning to her throne. But her confidence cracked the second she reached the kitchen. Amara was already there, wearing a soft yellow dress, hair tied beautifully, cooking. Cooking. Not just anything. Fried plantain, scrabbled eggs with herbs, fresh mango slices, tea boiling on the stove. And the smell? Warm. Comforting. Home. Kwame was sitting at the kitchen island reading the newspaper, looking like a king in a black robe. He wasn't saying much, but he looked peaceful. Zuri froze in the doorway. Oh, wow, we're doing village life now? She said, voice dripping sarcasm. Amara smiled gently. Good morning, Zuri. Breakfast? Zuri crossed her arms. No, thank you. I don't eat early. And I definitely don't eat food cooked with emotions and village memories. Kwame lowered the newspaper. Food is universal, not status-based. Zuri raised an eyebrow. Oh, please, food is aesthetic. I eat at Michelin-star restaurants, not home-cooked comfort dishes. She made the word comfort sound like an insult. Amara didn't react. She simply placed a plate in front of Kwame. He took a bite, closed his eyes, exhaled. That's perfect. Amara smiled softly. Zuri's jaw tightened. She sat across from them, grabbing her iced detox water and scrolling her phone loudly, like a teenager seeking attention. She finally spoke. So, what's the plan today? Does Amara braid corn and fetch water next? Kwame calmly replied, We have a gala tonight. Wear something elegant. Zuri scoffed. I'm always elegant. Amara softly added, It's a charity gala for children's hospitals, so grace will matter more than glamour. Zuri slowly placed her phone down and stared. A long, cold stare. Did she just give me instructions? Kwame didn't look up. Advice, not instructions. Zuri leaned forward. Well, let me give her some advice. She pointed to Amara again. This world runs on standards, status, looks, influence. You can't survive here being soft and simple. Amara looked up, eyes calm. Soft isn't weak. It's controlled strength. Kwame paused his eating, impressed. Zuri felt that, deep. She stood and declared, Fine. If this is a competition, I'll win. And tonight, everyone will know who the real Mrs. Adeyemi is. Before walking away, she turned to Kwame. Kiss your little backup plan now, because after tonight, she'll just be a memory. Kwame looked at her, unshaken. We'll see.
Hours later, 2 stylists and 3 makeup artists surrounded Zuri. Silk, diamonds, velvet, sequins, shoes lined like royalty weapons. She looked in the mirror when they finished. Flawless, dangerous, a woman made of fire. Meanwhile, in another room, Amara wore a simple emerald gown. No glitter, no excessive jewelry, just grace. A woman made of quiet strength. At the gala, photographers flashed, reporters gasped, guests turned, because walking in wasn't just a couple, it was 2 wives, one dramatic, one serene. Kwame walked between them, not touching either. Social media exploded instantly. Who's the second woman? Is Kwame replacing Zuri? Drama in billionaire paradise. Zuri saw the cameras and smiled like a queen reclaiming a kingdom. But then something unexpected happened. A small girl in a wheelchair rolled forward, nervous but excited. She looked at Amara and whispered, You look like a princess. Amara kneeled, held her hand, and said softly, No, sweet girl, you do. The cameras turned, all at once, not toward Zuri's diamonds, but toward Amara's kindness. Kwame glanced sideways, and Zuri saw it. That tiny, subtle shift, admiration, respect, connection. It hit Zuri harder than any insult ever could. For the first time in her life, beauty wasn't enough.
The gala changed everything. For the first time, Zuri wasn't the center of the room. She was the background. People complimented her beauty, her gown, her fame. But when Amara spoke, people listened. Her kindness was louder than Zuri's diamonds. Kwame stood beside her, proud, and that hurt Zuri more than humiliation ever could. When they returned home, Zuri didn't storm off. She didn't throw things. She simply walked to the balcony, staring over the city lights. Kwame joined her silently. After a long moment, she spoke softly, not dramatic, not sarcastic, just real. Is she really what you want now? Kwame stared at her, expression unreadable. No, she isn't what I wanted. That sentence cut her, deeply. But, Kwame continued, voice calm, she became what I needed. Zuri swallowed,
eyes glistening. So, all of this, bringing her here, letting the world see, posting rumors with no explanation, was just to teach me a lesson? Kwame finally turned to face her. No, Zuri, the lesson wasn't for you. She looked confused. It was for both of us, he continued. You wanted a life that looks perfect. I wanted a life that feels meaningful. We stopped being partners. We became performances. Zuri's voice cracked. I was scared. Kwame softened. Of what? Zuri finally let the truth escape. Shaky, painful, raw. Of not being enough. Of being a bad mother. Of losing myself. Of becoming invisible. For the first time, Kwame saw not the fashion queen, but the scared woman behind the armor. He took a step closer. You are enough, Zuri, but you never gave yourself the chance to be. A tear finally rolled down her cheek. She whispered, And Amara? Kwame looked toward the hallway. She helped me remember what love feels like, but she is not here to replace you. She was here so you could see the difference between attention and connection. Zuri nodded slowly, then turned, walking to Amara's room. Amara was folding clothes when Zuri entered. For a final long second, neither spoke. Then Zuri whispered, I hated you. Amara smiled gently. I know. You threatened everything I believed made me powerful. You thought power was perfection, but it's vulnerability. Zuri sat on the edge of the bed, exhausted. I don't know if I can be the woman he wants. Amara touched her hand. You don't need to become me. You need to become you, but healed. Silence. Then Zuri whispered the sentence she never imagined saying. Will you help me? Amara nodded, with my whole heart. And for the first time in years, Zuri hugged someone and meant it. 1 month passed. Zuri didn't change overnight, but she changed honestly. She swapped selfies for therapy, shopping sprees for charity events, parties for quiet coffee mornings. She tried cooking, ruined the omelet, laughed instead of screaming. She spent time at children's hospitals, listening to stories, cutting ribbons, helping mothers. Something inside her finally cracked open. Compassion. Kwame watched quietly, not forcing, not praising, just witnessing her growth. One morning, Amara packed her suitcase. Zuri walked in. So, you're leaving? Amara smiled. My purpose is complete. Zuri hugged her tightly. You weren't my competition. You were my mirror. Amara whispered, and now you see yourself. Weeks later, Zuri stood in the living room holding something small in her hand, a baby ultrasound file the doctor gave her earlier. Kwame entered, pausing when he saw her. She breathed in deeply. I don't want a baby out of pressure. I don't want a baby to keep you. And I don't want a baby because society expects it. Kwame nodded, calm. So what do you want, Zuri? She looked up with a soft smile and teary eyes. I want a family, not because I need one, but because I'm finally ready to give one. Kwame froze. Zuri placed the ultrasound on the table. I'm pregnant. Silence. Then Kwame, the calm, composed billionaire, wrapped his arms around her and actually cried. Not from victory, from love. Zuri whispered into his chest. I didn't lose myself. I found the version of me I was afraid of becoming. Kwame kissed her forehead. And she's the woman I always prayed for. Under the warm Nairobi sunset, with the future finally rooted in love and not appearance, Zuri smiled and whispered, being a wife made me admired, but becoming a mother made me whole.